Beloved soul, pause for a moment, because what you are about to hear was almost kept from you forever. This is not just another message. This is not something you casually stumbled upon. No, this was delayed, resisted, and nearly buried under forces you cannot see. But God, yes, God Himself, stepped in and broke every single barrier that stood between you and this moment. There were distractions sent to pull you away. There were moments when you almost clicked away, almost chose something else, almost ignored this completely. And yet, here you are. That alone should shake something deep inside your spirit. Because messages like this do not reach just anyone. They are delivered with precision, through divine timing, after a battle has already been fought on your behalf. Archangel Michael has been standing in that battle, fighting, shielding, clearing the path so these words could finally reach your ears. Think about that, an archangel, a warrior of divine light, intervening so that you could receive something that has always belonged to you. This is not small. This is not ordinary. This is a divine interruption of your life as you know it. And the truth is, something was taken from you. Something meant for you was delayed, hidden, or pushed out of your reach. Not because you were unworthy, but because the timing had not yet aligned. There were forces that benefited from your confusion, from your waiting, from your doubt. They thrived every time you questioned your path, every time you felt like giving up, every time you wondered if anything was truly meant for you at all. But heaven has made a decision. This delay is over. Right now, in this very moment, something has shifted. The resistance has been broken. The blockage has been removed. And what once felt distant is now closer than ever before. You may not fully understand it yet. You may not see it clearly. But your spirit recognizes it. That subtle feeling inside you. The one you can't quite explain. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. Archangel Michael is not here by accident. His presence carries a message that cannot be ignored any longer. A message that says, it's finally here. And here's what makes this even more powerful. This was never something new being given to you. This was always yours. From the very beginning. Before the delays. Before the confusion. Before the moments that made you question everything. It was written into your path long before you ever realized it. But now comes the part that matters most. You cannot miss it again. Because opportunities like this, divine openings like this, they don't wait forever. They arrive with purpose, and they require your awareness, your attention, your willingness to receive. This is your moment to recognize what has been fighting to find you. So don't brush this off. Don't tell yourself maybe later. Don't let doubt whisper you away from something that heaven has worked this hard to deliver. Because the fact that you are hearing this right now means one thing is already true. You were meant to. And this is only the beginning. There is something you must understand now. Something that changes the way you see everything that has happened in your life up to this point. The delays you faced were not random. The confusion that clouded your decisions was not accidental. The moments where everything seemed to fall apart just as you were getting close, those were not coincidences. There has been a hidden war over your destiny. Yes, a real and silent battle. One that unfolded beyond what your eyes could see, but one that affected every step you took. While you were living your life, trying to make sense of things, wondering why certain doors kept closing or why progress felt so slow, there were forces working behind the scenes. Some of those forces were trying to guide you, protect you, and preserve what was meant for you. And others were trying to delay it, confuse you, and keep you from ever realizing what truly belonged to you. This is why things often felt so close, yet just out of reach. why you may have experienced moments of hope followed by sudden setbacks, why certain opportunities appeared and then disappeared without explanation. It wasn't because you weren't ready. It wasn't because you weren't worthy. It was because there was resistance surrounding something valuable, something that carried weight, purpose, and divine assignment. And in the middle of this unseen conflict, Archangel Michael stood as your defender. Even when you didn't know it, even when you felt alone, even when you believed no one was fighting for you, he was there, holding the line, ensuring that no matter how intense the resistance became, it would not completely erase what was destined for you. He did not allow the story to end in loss. He did not allow your path to be rewritten by confusion or fear. Think about the times when you almost gave up completely. The moments when you felt drained, when your faith felt thin, when it seemed easier to walk away than to keep going. Those were critical points in the battle. Because if you had fully turned away, if you had completely closed yourself off, the delay could have stretched even longer. But something inside you kept going. Even if it was just a small spark. Even if it was just a quiet voice telling you not to quit. That spark was never just you. It was protection. It was guidance. It was the quiet influence of divine presence keeping you aligned, even when everything around you tried to pull you off course. And now, looking back, certain things may begin to make sense. The strange timing, the unexpected detours, the people who came into your life and then suddenly left, the opportunities that seemed perfect but never fully unfolded. Each of these moments was part of a larger movement, one that was positioning you, shaping you, and, at times, shielding you from things that were not meant to stay. Because not every delay was an attack. Some were protection. Some things had to be removed before what was truly yours could arrive. Some paths had to close so that you would not settle for something smaller than what was written for you. And even though it felt frustrating, even though it felt unfair at times, it was all working toward this very moment. The difference now is that the resistance has weakened. The battle that once blocked your clarity has shifted. The interference that once clouded your path is being lifted. And what was once hidden is beginning to move into the light. This is why you feel a change, even if you cannot fully explain it. This is why something within you feels more alert, more aware, more ready. Because the war over your destiny is not what it was before. Something has turned in your favor. And the message that fought so hard to reach you is not coming empty-handed. It carries truth. It carries revelation. And most importantly, it carries the key to something that was always meant to find its way back to you. You are no longer standing in the same place you were before. The delays do not define you anymore. The confusion does not control you anymore. The waiting is no longer the center of your story. Now, something is breaking through. And what comes next will reveal why none of it was ever wasted. There comes a moment in every divine story when silence is no longer allowed to continue, when heaven itself decides that enough is enough. And this, right now, is that moment in your life. The delays have spoken long enough. The confusion has had its time. The waiting has stretched as far as it was permitted to go. But now, heaven refuses to stay silent any longer. What you are experiencing is not just a shift. It is a declaration. A declaration that what was held back is now being released. A declaration that what was hidden is now being revealed. A declaration that what was always yours can no longer be kept from you. You may feel this as a sudden clarity, or as a deep inner knowing that something is changing. It may come as a sense of urgency, or even a quiet realization that you cannot continue living the same way you did before. This is not pressure. It is alignment. It is your spirit recognizing that the appointed time has arrived. Archangel Michael stands at the center of this moment, not as a distant observer, but as an active force ensuring that this breakthrough is not delayed again. His presence signals that the resistance has been confronted, the obstacles have been removed, and the path is now open in a way it has never been before. And here is the truth that may surprise you: what is coming into your life now is not something new being created. It is something that was preserved for you, protected, held back until the exact moment when you would be ready to receive it fully. This is why things did not work out before. This is why certain doors closed even when you wanted them to stay open. This is why you had to walk away from situations that felt important at the time. Because if those things had stayed, they would have interfered with what is being released now. They would have distracted you, divided your attention, and possibly caused you to settle for less than what was written for you from the beginning. But now, there is no interference strong enough to stop this. Heaven has made its decision, and that decision includes you. You are being called into a moment of receiving, but also a moment of awareness. Because even though this was always yours, you still must recognize it. You still must step into it. You still must say yes when the opportunity presents itself. And that is where many people miss it. Not because it wasn't meant for them, but because they hesitated. Because they doubted. Because they allowed old patterns of thinking to convince them that nothing had really changed. Do not make that mistake. This moment is different from anything you have experienced before. The alignment is real. The timing is exact. The message is clear. It's finally here. And as these words reach you, something within you is already responding. You may feel a sense of awakening, a stirring that cannot be ignored. That is your confirmation. That is your spirit recognizing truth before your mind fully understands it. You are not being asked to chase anything. You are being asked to receive. To stand still long enough to recognize what is being placed into your hands. To trust that what is unfolding now carries divine intention. To believe that after everything you have been through, this is not another delay, this is the release. Let this sink in deeply. Let it move through every doubt, every fear, every hesitation that has tried to hold you back before. Because this is not just a message you are hearing. This is a moment you are stepping into. And it will not repeat itself in the same way again. Type "I receive what is mine" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 3497 has just been released. And as you stand in this sacred moment of receiving, hear this clearly. This message is not only reaching you, it is reaching many others who are still waiting in silence, still searching for clarity, still hoping for a sign. When you choose to support this mission, you are not giving to a channel, you are sowing into the awakening of souls. The word says, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and today, your seed becomes someone else's breakthrough. If you feel this stirring within you, say it boldly. I am part of this divine work. The PayPal link in the description and the QR code on your screen are not just tools. They are gateways for your obedience. Do not delay what heaven is prompting you to do right now. As you give, may your life overflow with clarity, favor, and divine acceleration. Step into it. Act now. There were moments in your past that did not make sense at the time, moments you may have brushed off, dismissed, or quietly questioned without ever finding a clear answer. Subtle signs, gentle nudges, a feeling in your spirit that something was trying to get your attention, but life kept moving, distractions took over, and those moments faded into the background. But they never truly disappeared. They stayed with you, quietly waiting for a moment like this, a moment when everything would begin to connect. Think back for a second. There were times when you felt an unexplainable pull in a certain direction. A decision that did not seem logical, yet something inside you kept urging you toward it. Or maybe the opposite, a situation that looked perfect on the outside, but deep down, something felt off. Something told you to step away. Those were not random thoughts. That was guidance. There were dreams you had that felt unusually vivid. Encounters that felt too perfectly timed to be coincidence. Words you heard from someone that stayed with you longer than they should have. Even moments of discomfort or restlessness that you could not explain. Those were signals trying to redirect you, protect you, and align you. But at the time, you didn't have the full picture. You were experiencing pieces of something much bigger, without knowing how they all fit together. And because of that, it was easy to overlook them. Easy to doubt them. Easy to tell yourself it was nothing. Yet here you are now, and suddenly, those moments are starting to feel different. Now they carry meaning. Now they feel connected. Now they feel like preparation. Because that is exactly what they were. Every sign you once ignored was not wasted. It was part of a buildup. A slow and intentional preparation leading you to this exact point in your life. Even the times you didn't listen fully, even the times you chose a different path, the guidance never left you. It adjusted. It adapted. It continued to work around your choices, ensuring that you would not be completely separated from what was meant for you. That is how precise this hath been. Nothing was random. Nothing was careless. Everything was part of a design that refused to give up on you. And now, something has changed within you. You are more aware, more sensitive to what you feel inside, more open to recognizing when something carries deeper meaning. This is not by accident. It is activation. Because what is being placed before you now requires a different version of you. A version that pays attention. A version that does not ignore the signs. A version that trusts what is felt within, even when it cannot be fully explained. Archangel Michael's presence in your life has not just been about protection. It has also been about sharpening your awareness, helping you distinguish between distraction and direction, teaching you, even through silence, how to recognize truth when it finally stands in front of you. And that is what is happening now. This moment is not just another sign. It is the confirmation of all the signs that came before it. It is the point where everything that once felt unclear begins to make sense. The dreams, the delays, the detours, the feelings you couldn't explain, they are no longer separate pieces. They are forming a clear message, one that says, you were being guided all along. Even when you thought you were lost. Even when you felt uncertain. Even when you questioned everything. You were not off track. You were being led, step by step, through a path that required patience, growth, and timing. And now, you are standing in a place where the guidance is no longer subtle. It is direct. It is clear. It is undeniable. So do not ignore this one. Do not push it aside like you may have done before. Because this is not just another moment passing through your life. This is the moment everything aligns. This is where awareness meets opportunity. This is where understanding replaces confusion. And this is where you finally begin to see that nothing you experienced was ever meaningless. It was all leading here. There is a truth that must be revealed now, and it may stir something deep within you as you begin to recognize it. Not everything you lost was meant to be lost forever. Not every delay was simply a matter of time. There were things that were taken out of your reach, moments that were interrupted, opportunities that slipped away, not because they were never yours, but because they were not meant to be fulfilled in that season. And yes, some things were hidden from you. Not to harm you, but to preserve you. This may be difficult to accept at first, especially when you think about the times you felt overlooked, the doors that closed without warning, or the situations where you gave your energy, your time, and your hope, only to walk away empty-handed. It felt unfair. It felt confusing. It felt like something was being withheld from you. But look deeper now. There is a difference between something being denied and something being delayed for protection. Because what was meant for you carries weight. It carries purpose. It carries consequences that go beyond a single moment. And if it had come to you at the wrong time, in a wrong condition, or surrounded by the wrong people, it could have been distorted, misused, or even lost completely. So instead of allowing that to happen, it was held back, guarded, governed. Not because you were unworthy, but because what was yours was too important to be placed in unstable conditions. And in some cases, yes, there were forces that tried to interfere. Times when confusion was intensified. Times when doubt was amplified. Times when it felt like no matter how hard you tried, things simply would not come together. Those were not reflections of your ability. They were reflections of resistance surrounding something valuable. But here is what those forces could not do. They could not erase what was written for you. They could not permanently take what carried your name. They could delay it. They could distract you. They could make the path feel longer and heavier than it needed to be. But they could not remove it from your destiny. And that is why you are still here. That is why something inside you never fully gave up. That is why, even after disappointment, even after setbacks, even after moments that made you question everything, you continued moving forward. Sometimes slowly, sometimes uncertainly, but still moving. Because what belongs to you has always been calling you back. And now, the time of hiding is ending. But what once covered is being uncovered. What was once delayed is being released. What was once out of reach is being placed back within your grasp. But this moment also requires honesty. There were times when you almost settled for less. Times when you considered accepting something that did not fully align with who you are or where you were meant to go. Times when exhaustion made you think, maybe this is all there is. And if those moments had turned into permanent decisions, they could have redirected your path in a way that would have been difficult to undo. But you didn't stay there. Something kept pulling you away from what was not right. Something kept reminding you, even in the quietest way, that there was more for you. That was not coincidence. That was protection in motion. And now, as everything begins to come into alignment, you are being brought face to face with the truth. What was meant for you has not disappeared. It has been preserved through every delay, through every setback, through every moment of uncertainty. It is still intact. It is still yours. And more importantly, it is now ready. Ready to enter your life in a way that is stable, clear, and aligned with who you have become. Because you are not the same person you were before. You have grown. You have learned. You have developed a deeper awareness that will allow you to recognize and value what is being given to you now. This is not just about receiving something. It is about receiving it in the right way, at the right time, with the right understanding. So do not look back with regret. Do not dwell on what seemed lost. Because what truly belonged to you was never destroyed. It was simply waiting for this moment. And now that moment has arrived. Listen closely now, because what is being spoken in this moment carries authority, clarity, and divine intention. This is not just encouragement. This is not just comfort. This is a message of restoration, delivered through the presence of Archangel Michael, and it is meant to reach deep into every place where you once felt loss, delay, or uncertainty. What was disrupted in your life is not beyond repair. What felt broken is not beyond restoration. And what seemed lost is not beyond recovery. There is a divine order that is now being reestablished in your life. An order that does not depend on past mistakes, missed opportunities, or moments of weakness. This restoration is not based on what went wrong, it is based on what was always written to go right. Archangel Michael stands as a protector, but also as a restorer of alignment. His presence is not only about shielding you from harm, but also about guiding you back into position, back into the place where what belongs to you can finally meet you without interference. And this is where everything begins to shift. Because restoration is not just about giving something back. It is about returning it in a way that is stronger, clearer, and more complete than before. It is about ensuring that when it arrives, it is not fragile or temporary, but stable and lasting. This means that what is coming into your life now may not look exactly like what you expected in the past. It may feel different. It may come through unexpected paths or unfamiliar forms. But do not let that confuse you. What matters is not the form, it is the essence. And the essence of what is being restored carries truth, alignment, and purpose. You are not being given something random. You are being brought into something intentional. There is also something important you must release in this moment. The belief that you missed your chance. The thought that it is too late. The feeling that others have moved ahead while you were left behind. These thoughts do not belong to your reality anymore. They were shaped during the period of delay, during the time when things felt uncertain and unclear. But now, those conditions no longer define your position. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are precisely where you need to be to receive what is now ready for you. This is what divine restoration looks like. It does not rush. It does not panic. And it does not operate according to human timelines. It moves with precision, with purpose, and with perfect timing. And now, the timing has aligned with you. Archangel Michael's message is clear. Stand in readiness. Not in fear, not in doubt, but in readiness. Because restoration requires your participation. It requires your willingness to accept, to step forward, and to embrace what is being placed before you. You cannot approach this moment with hesitation. You cannot treat it as something uncertain or temporary. This is not another passing opportunity. This is a return. A return of what carries your name. A return of what holds your purpose. A return of what was always meant to be part of your life. And as this return unfolds, you may begin to notice changes within yourself. A stronger sense of clarity. A deeper confidence in your decisions. A quiet certainty that you are moving in the right direction, even if everything is not fully visible yet. These are signs that restoration is already in motion. It is not something you were waiting for anymore. It is something you are stepping into. So do not shrink back now. Do not question whether you deserve it. Do not hesitate when the moment calls you forward. Because everything that has led you here, the delays, the lessons, the growth, has prepared you for this exact point. And now, Archangel Michael stands with you, not just as a protector of your path, but as a witness to your restoration. This is where what was once scattered begins to come together. This is where what once felt uncertain becomes clear. This is where what was once distant becomes present. And this is where you finally begin to experience what it means to have something restored in its rightful place. Hold on to this truth. Because what is unfolding now is not temporary. It is the beginning of something that was always meant to return to you and stay. There is a question that may be forming quietly within you right now, even if you have not fully spoken it out loud. Why you? Why has this message reached you at this exact moment? Why has your path, with all its delays, struggles, and unexpected turns, led you to something that now feels so intentional, so specific, and so deeply personal? The answer is not SLUCHAKATKIN or Esteyuri. It is selection. You were not randomly placed into this moment. You were chosen for it. And being chosen does not mean your journey was easy. In fact, it often means the opposite. It means you were trusted with a path that required endurance. A path that would shape your awareness, strengthen your spirit, and refine your understanding in ways that others may not fully comprehend. Because what is being placed before you now requires a certain depth, a certain readiness, a certain ability to recognize its value and not take it lightly. If this had come to you earlier, before the lessons, before the growth, before the moments that tested your patience and your faith, you might not have seen it clearly. You might have overlooked it, mishandled it, or even walked away from it without realizing what it truly was. But now, you are different. Now, you see things with greater clarity. Now, you feel things with deeper awareness. Now, you understand the cost of what it took to arrive here. That is why you were chosen, not because you were perfect, but because you were willing to continue, even when things did not make sense. Think about how many times you could have given up completely. How many moments there were when walking away felt like the easier option. How many times you questioned whether any of this was leading anywhere meaningful. And yet you stayed. Even if you paused. Even if you slowed down. Even if you doubted along the way. You did not fully walk away. That matters more than you realize. Because being chosen is not about never struggling. It is about continuing despite the struggle. It is about holding on to something, even when you cannot fully see it yet. It is about remaining open, even when past experiences try to convince you to close off. Archangel Michael recognizes that within you, that resilience, that quiet persistence, that inner strength that may not always be visible on the outside, but has carried you through more than anyone else truly knows. And now, that same strength is what allows you to stand in this moment of alignment. Because what is coming into your life now is not just a gift, it is a responsibility. Not in a heavy or overwhelming way, but in a meaningful way. It is something that will shape your next steps. Something that will influence your direction. Something that will require your attention, your presence, and your willingness to fully engage with it. This is why not everyone receives this moment in the same way. Because not everyone is prepared to recognize it. Not everyone is ready to hold it. Not everyone has walked the path required to arrive here with the level of awareness that you now carry. But you have. And that is why you are here. There is also something else you must understand. Being chosen is not about comparison. It is not about being better than someone else or more deserving than another. It is about alignment. It is about being in the right place at the right time, with the right level of readiness. And right now, that alignment is present in your life. Everything that once felt scattered is beginning to come together. Everything that once felt uncertain is beginning to take shape. Everything that once felt delayed is now moving with purpose. And you are standing at the center of it. So do not question your place in this. Do not doubt whether this is truly meant for you. Do not shrink back or hesitate because it feels significant. It is significant. And you are meant to be part of it. Archangel Michael's presence in this moment is not just to deliver a message, it is to affirm your position. to remind you that you are not here by accident, to confirm that you have been seen, guided, and brought into alignment with something that carries purpose and meaning. And now, the only thing left is your response. Will you recognize this moment for what it is? Will you accept that you were chosen to step into it? Will you allow yourself to fully receive what is being placed before you? Because this is not just about what is being given. It is about who you are becoming as you receive it. And this moment is shaping that in ways you are only beginning to understand. There is something you must feel deeply right now, not just hear with your ears, but truly understand within your spirit. The door that has opened before you is real. It is not symbolic. It is not distant. It is not something that may happen someday. It is here, now, present in your life in a way that demands your awareness. But there is also something equally important you must not ignore. This door will not remain open forever. Divine opportunities carry timing. They are not rushed, but they are also not indefinite. They arrive when alignment is complete, when preparation has reached its necessary point, and when the moment is right for movement. And when they arrive, they require a response. This is where everything becomes real. Because it is one thing to wait for something. It is one thing to hope, to pray, to believe that something meaningful will come into your life. But it is something entirely different to stand in front of that very moment and decide whether you will step into it or not. Many people spend their lives waiting for clarity, asking for signs, hoping for confirmation. But when the confirmation arrives, they hesitate. They question it. They delay their response. They allow fear, doubt, or overthinking to hold them back. And in doing so, they miss what they once prayed for. Do not let that be your story. Because this moment is not uncertain. It is not unclear. The very fact that you have reached this point, that you are hearing these words, that something inside you is responding with recognition, this is your confirmation. Archangel Michael has not fought to bring you here just for you to stand still. His presence signals movement. It signals action. It signals that the time of waiting has transitioned into the time of stepping forward. And yet, the choice is still yours. This is what makes this moment so powerful. Nothing is being forced upon you. Nothing is being taken out of your control. You are being invited, clearly, directly, and intentionally, to step into something that has always belonged to you. But invitation requires acceptance. You must choose to walk through the door. You must choose to leave behind the hesitation that once felt safe. You must choose to trust that what is in front of you is not another illusion, not another temporary moment, but something real and aligned with your path. And yes, it may feel unfamiliar. It may feel like stepping into something you cannot fully predict. But that is because you are entering new ground. Ground that is not shaped by your past delays. Ground that is not limited by your previous experiences. Ground that has been prepared for you, but not yet walked by you. This is where faith becomes active. Not just belief in something unseen, but trust in something that is now being revealed. You are not being asked to leap blindly. You are being asked to recognize what is already in front of you and respond to it with courage. Because every moment you delay is a moment where the opportunity waits, but not endlessly. There comes a point where movement must happen, where hesitation must end, where the decision becomes clear. And that point is now. Feel the weight of this moment, not as pressure, but as importance. Feel the significance of what is unfolding, not as fear, but as purpose. Because this is not about losing something if you do not act. This is about fully receiving something if you do. The door is open. The path is clear. The timing is aligned. And Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this moment, not to push you, but to remind you that you are supported as you step forward. So do not wait for another sign. Do not ask for more confirmation. Do not delay what has already been made clear, because this moment is your answer. Type "I step forward" without fear in the comments if you feel this truth within you. Blessing code 8821 is now activated. And as you stand at this open door, understand this. Your action does not only impact your life, it becomes a light for others still searching in the dark. When you sow into this mission, you are helping carry this message beyond limits, beyond barriers, into hearts that are still waiting for their moment of clarity. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And right now, your giving becomes a living testimony of faith in motion. If your spirit is stirred, say it boldly. I release my seed into divine purpose. The PayPal link in the description and the QR code on your screen are sacred pathways for this act of obedience. Do not hold back when heaven is calling you to move. As you give, may doors open in your life that no one can shut, and may favor locate you without delay. Act now and step into alignment. Now that the door is open, now that the resistance has been broken, now that clarity is beginning to replace confusion, there is something you must understand with absolute certainty. This moment requires action from you. Not rush action, not fearful action, but intentional, aware, and aligned action. Because what is in front of you right now is not something that will move forward on its own without your participation. You are part of this. Your response matters. Your willingness to step forward is what allows this moment to fully unfold in your life. So what must you do right now? First, you must quiet the noise that once guided your decisions. The doubts, the overthinking, the constant questioning that made you hesitate in the past. Those patterns cannot lead you forward anymore. They were formed during a time of uncertainty, when things were unclear and delays made everything feel unstable. But that time has shifted. You cannot approach a moment of clarity with a mindset shaped by confusion. You must become still enough to recognize what is true. There is a difference between fear and intuition. Fear creates hesitation without reason. Intuition carries a calm certainty, even when the full picture is not visible yet. Right now, you are being guided by that deeper sense of knowing. It may not shout loudly, but it is steady. It is present. It is real. Trust that. Second, you must release the weight of your past experiences, not by forgetting them, but by refusing to let them define your present decisions. What did not work before does not have the authority to determine what can work now. What was delayed before does not mean it will be delayed again. This is a different moment, a different alignment, a different version of you. If you carry old disappointments into this new space, you risk misinterpreting what is being placed before you. You may hesitate where you should move. You may doubt where you should trust. You may pull back where you should step forward. Do not let the past rewrite this moment. Third, you must be willing to act even if everything is not perfectly clear. This is where many people stop themselves. They wait until every detail is visible, until every outcome is guaranteed, until there is no uncertainty left. But that is not how divine movement works. You are given enough clarity to take the next step, not the entire path. And as you move, more becomes visible. This is where faith becomes real, not as an idea but as a decision. A decision to step forward based on what you know is true within you, not based on what fear is trying to convince you. Fourth, you must remain present. Do not rush ahead in your mind. Do not jump to conclusions or create expectations that pull you out of the current moment. What is unfolding right now requires your attention here, not somewhere else. Every step matters. Every choice matters. Every moment of awareness matters. Because this is not just about reaching an outcome. This is about moving in alignment. Archangel Michael's presence in this moment is not distant. It is active. It is guiding you toward clarity, not confusion. Toward movement, not hesitation. Toward purpose, not distraction. And as you begin to take these steps, something powerful will happen. Your confidence will grow, not because everything becomes easy, but because you begin to see that you are capable of moving forward without being held back by the same patterns that once limited you. You will begin to trust yourself more. Not the version of you shaped by doubt, but the version of you that has been refined through experience, strengthened through challenges, and prepared for this exact moment. And that is the key. You are ready. Not because everything is perfect, but because everything is aligned enough for you to begin. So do not wait for another sign. Do not look for external confirmation beyond what has already been placed within you. Do not delay what you already feel is right, because this moment is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be willing. Willing to step forward. Willing to trust. Willing to receive. And as you do, you will begin to see that what once felt distant is now within reach, and what once felt uncertain is now becoming clear. This is where movement begins, and this is where everything starts to change. There is something awakening within you right now, something that has always been there, but has not fully risen until this moment. It is not something being given to you from the outside. It is something that hath been activated from within. And once it awakens, it changes everything. For so long, you may have looked outward for confirmation, for direction, for assurance that you were on the right path. You may have depended on signs, on circumstances, on other people's words to guide your decisions. And while those things served a purpose during your time of preparation, they were never meant to be your foundation, because your true foundation is within you. And now, that foundation is becoming stronger. You may notice it as a quiet confidence, not loud and not forceful but steady, a sense that you are no longer easily shaken by uncertainty, a feeling that even when you do not have all the answers, you are not lost. You are simply moving through a process with awareness. This is the power that has been activated. It is not about control. It is not about forcing outcomes. It is about alignment. Alignment with truth. Alignment with purpose. Alignment with the direction that your life is now taking. Archangel Michael's presence has not only protected you and guided you to this point, it has also helped awaken this inner strength. A strength that allows you to stand firm, even when things around you are still shifting. A strength that helps you recognize what is real and what is distraction. A strength that keeps you grounded, even as new opportunities begin to unfold. This is why things feel different now. You are no longer reacting the way you used to. Situations that once caused you to doubt yourself now feel clearer. Decisions that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. Even challenges, when they appear, do not carry the same weight they once did, because you are no longer approaching them from the same place. You are approaching them from a place of activation. And this activation is not temporary. It is a shift in how you experience yourself and your path. You are beginning to trust your own perception. You are beginning to rely on your inner knowing. You are beginning to move with intention, rather than hesitation. This is what makes this moment so important, because what is being placed before you now requires this level of awareness. Without it, you might have questioned everything. Without it, you might have delayed your own progress. Without it, you might have allowed fear to take control again. But now, that is no longer your position. You are standing in clarity. Not complete visibility, but clear enough to move forward. And that is all you need. There is also something else happening within you, something that may be subtle, but is powerful. You are releasing the need to prove yourself, you others, to past situations, even to yourself. Because deep down, you are beginning to understand that your value was never dependent on external validation. It was always present. It was always part of who you are. And now that you are connected to that truth, you move differently. You no longer chase what is not aligned. You no longer settle for what feels incomplete. You no longer question whether you deserve what is being placed before you. You accept it. You receive it. You step into it. This is the power that has been activated, and it will continue to grow as you move forward. Not because everything will always be easy, but because you now have a deeper connection to yourself, to your path, and to the guidance that has brought you here. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this transformation, not just as a protector of your journey, but as a confirmation that what is unfolding within you is real. That this strength is not imagined. That this clarity is not temporary. That this shift is not accidental. It is intentional. It is aligned. It is necessary for what comes next. So do not ignore this feeling. Do not question whether it is real. Do not shrink back into old patterns that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Because what has been activated within you is meant to carry you forward, to guide your decisions, to strengthen your steps, to support you as you continue walking into what has always been yours. This is no longer about searching. This is about stepping into what you have already found within yourself. And from this point on, nothing will feel the same again. There have been moments in your life when you asked, quietly, deeply, sometimes even desperately, for a sign, a confirmation, something clear enough to remove doubt and strong enough to settle the questions that kept returning to your mind. You may not have always spoken those words out loud, but they were there within you. Am I on the right path? Is this really meant for me? Should I keep going or let it go? Those questions did not go unheard. They were received. And what you are experiencing right now is the answer. Not in the form you may have expected, not in a sudden dramatic event that changes everything instantly, but in something more powerful, clarity that reaches you at the exact moment you are ready to understand it. This is your confirmation, not because it removes every unknown, but because it aligns with something deeper than logic. It resonates within you in a way that feels undeniable. Even if your mind tries to question it, your spirit recognizes it as truth. That is how real confirmation works. It does not force belief. It reveals alignment. And what you are feeling right now is that alignment coming into place. Think about how many times before you searched for answers and felt like you received silence in return. Times when you waited, hoped, and tried to interpret signs that never felt fully clear. It may have felt like nothing was responding, but something was happening during that silence. You were being prepared to recognize the answer when it finally arrived. Because if this level of clarity had come to you before, you might have overlooked it. You might have questioned it too quickly. You might have allowed doubt to dismiss it before it had the chance to fully reach you. But now you are able to receive it. Now, when something feels right, you do not ignore it as easily. And now, when clarity appears, you do not push it away out of fear. Now, when confirmation comes, you recognize it. This is why this moment matters so much. Because it is not just about what is being revealed, it is about your ability to recognize that it is real. Archangel Michael's presence in this moment carries that final assurance, not as something distant or symbolic, but as a clear indication that what you are experiencing is supported, guided, and aligned with your path. You are not moving blindly. You are not guessing. You are responding to something that has been intentionally placed before you. And here is the truth that must settle within you now. There is no more need to question whether this is meant for you. There is no more need to wait for another sign. You have received it. There is no more need to doubt whether you are ready. You are. Everything that has led you here has prepared you for this exact point. Every delay, every lesson, every moment of growth has shaped your ability to stand here now with awareness. And this is where the shift becomes complete. Because once confirmation is received, hesitation loses its place. Once clarity is recognized, confusion no longer holds power. Once alignment is felt, doubt begins to fade. This does not mean you will never question anything again. It means that those questions will no longer control your actions. They will no longer stop you from moving forward. They will no longer hold the same weight they once did. Because now, you know something you did not fully know before. You know that what is unfolding in your life right now is not random. You know that it is not a coincidence. You know that it is not something you imagined. It is real, and it is meant for you. So stand in that truth. Let it settle within you. Let it guide your next steps. Let it remind you that you are not walking alone, and that what is ahead of you is not uncertain in the way it once felt. This is your confirmation, the one you asked for, the one that arrived at the right time, the one that now places you in a position where you can move forward without needing to look back. And as you step into what comes next, carry this with you, not as something you need to prove, but as something you already understand. Because from this point on, you are no longer searching for answers. You are walking with them. Beloved one, everything has led to this moment not by accident, not by chance, but by design. Every delay you endured, every question you carried, every silent battle you fought within yourself has brought you here, to a place where the truth can finally settle in your spirit without resistance. It was always yours. Not something you needed to chase. Not something you needed to become someone else to receive. Not something that was created at the last moment. It was written into your path long before you understood it. It was protected when you could not see it. It was delayed when the timing was not right. And it was preserved, even in moments when you thought it had slipped away completely. Now, there is nothing left blocking it. Nothing left delaying it. Nothing left standing between you and what belongs to you. This is why you feel what you feel right now. That calm, that quiet certainty, that deep knowing that something has shifted in a way that cannot be reversed. This is not excitement that fades. This is not a temporary emotional moment. This is alignment, and alignment brings peace. You are no longer standing in confusion. You are no longer waiting for something to happen. You are no longer searching for what was missing. You are receiving, fully, openly, without resistance. And as you receive, something within you settles into place. The tension you once carried begins to dissolve. The questions that once filled your mind no longer demand answers. The need to control every outcome begins to fade. Because you understand now. You understand that what is meant for you does not need to be forced. You understand that what belongs to you will not pass you by. You understand that divine timing is not about delay. It is about precision. And now, that precision has brought everything into alignment. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this completion, not just as a protector who guided you through the unseen battles, but as a presence that now affirms what has been fulfilled. The path has opened. The resistance has been cleared. The moment has arrived, and you have stepped into it. There is nothing more you need to prove, nothing more you need to chase, nothing more you need to question. All that remains is your willingness to accept it, to live in it, to move forward with the quiet confidence that what is now part of your life is not temporary, not uncertain, not fragile. It is established. It is grounded. It is yours. So take a deep breath and let this truth settle within you. You made it here. Through everything. Through every doubt. Through every delay. Through every moment that tried to convince you otherwise. You are still here. And what was always yours is now finally in your hands. Do not look back with regret. Do not wonder what if. Do not question whether this is real. Stand in it. Trust it. Live in it. Because this is your moment of receiving, and it will not be taken from you. Type "I receive" fully without doubt in the comments if you are ready to accept what is yours. Blessing code 9903 is now sealed upon your life. And as this truth settles into your spirit, hear this as a sacred calling. What you have just received is not meant to stop with you. It is meant to flow through you, like a river that brings life to others still waiting for their moment. The Lord says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over." And right now, your giving becomes a living act of faith. If you feel this stirring, declare it boldly. I release my seed into God's work. The PayPal link in the description and the QR code on your screen are not ordinary. They are doors for your obedience to move through. Do not hesitate when your spirit is being called to act. As you sow into this mission, may overflow meet you, may favor surround you, and may blessings return to you multiplied. Step forward and give now.